Hi again then guys, and welcome to another Forza Horizon 3 speed setup, and this time we've got a requested build, this time for the Ford Capri. Not necessarily a super obvious choice of extremely fast car, but as with quite a few other vehicles on Horizon 3, once you do stuff like converting the engine, increasing the power significantly, you're looking at some pretty incredible performance, especially compared to how quick it already is. Now, as far as the upgrades on this particular version, I would recommend a 6.2 litre V8 instead of the standard engine. For the drivetrain, I would recommend all-wheel drive, as I would always recommend. For the aspiration, of course, the twin turbo. And then for the visuals, of course it's down to you. As you can see, I have made some changes to the bodywork, to the rims. That's all down to you. Now, incidentally, this tune is on my storefront, and it looks exactly like this. So if you like the way it looks, and you want to just get it quick, you can use the keywords down in the video description to find that. But if you want to do it yourself, then of course you want to upgrade the power as much as you can, lower the weight as much as you can, and stuff like the roll cage is optional. As you can see, I have fitted it, but it's down to you as to whether or not you want to do that. Now, as far as the tuning, the benchmark is very strong. In fact, this is, I must be honest, a quicker car than I was expecting it to be. I was hoping for maybe 240-ish out of this car, so 260 is very impressive. 2.4 to 60, 4.6 to 100, 260 flat out is remarkably good. Now, for the gearbox, we've got a much lower final drive than we would typically have. You don't necessarily have to go that low, but it does work pretty well with that. So I would recommend, as you can see, a 2.3 final drive, then individual gears of 3.2, 2, 1.5, 1.17, 0.95 and 0.81. Then as far as alignment, as I often do, I've gone for neutral, camber and tow, 4 degrees of caster. For anti-roll, we've got those on 31 and 20, springs on 167 and then 147, 0.9. I believe if you put that up a little bit, no, that's fine actually, I thought that might have changed the benchmark. As far as the ride height, I've left that pretty much stock, if memory serves. And as far as the dampers, we've got those on 15, 13, 7 and 6. Aero doesn't apply, of course, and finally for the diff, I haven't gone all the way to 100% because you do lose some acceleration time, at least according to the benchmark. However, the downside of doing what I've done is the handling is heavier. So if you want to sacrifice a tiny bit, really, of acceleration, then by all means go up to 100. There's not really any hugely noticeable difference. This is more if you just want the absolute, well, not necessarily the absolute best numbers, but better numbers than if you go to 100%. Then for the center split, I've got 70% on this one, so fairly tail happy, but you've got a good amount going to the front end, helps out off-road, off the line, and so that's it for the tune. So all that remains, of course, is to actually take this monster out on the street to see how quick it can actually go. Now, overall, as I mentioned just now, this car definitely surpassed my personal expectations as to what its top speed would be. Sometimes, some older vehicles from the 70s and 80s aren't quite as quick in terms of top-end performance. This one, though, has no trouble whatsoever. It's extremely quick in a straight line, and although technically it is a Euro market vehicle, it's kind of like a European spec muscle car to some degree. I've never been a huge fan of the Capri, but I can definitely see why people are. It's almost like a more attainable Mustang for the European market. So overall, if you do decide to use this tune, or some variation of it, I hope you have a huge amount of fun with it, and of course, if you enjoyed this, there are plenty more on the channel. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.